Did you go to Hatshepsut's temple?
We went, yeah. That's also extremely impressive, yeah.
And especially when you hear of the history of that lady, she was like the original feminist. I mean, you know that it's because of her that the name pharaoh exists, right? Like before that, they were all kings. She was from the 18th dynasty, but because she wanted to take power and she couldn't be a king, so that's when she came up with this whole concept of pharaoh. Pharaoh till then just meant, the palace. But thanks to her is when Egyptian kings started being called pharaohs. And
that is very cool.
Yeah, like her stepson and her, who was also her nephew, obviously, he took over, and then he had her name erased from everywhere possible. Wherever he saw her name, he would just try to wipe it up.
One of the very interesting experience that I had was people started calling me Shah Rukh Khan. So that is.
Hey, I was called Kareena Kapoor. Okay, so
come on, completely arriving in life in Egypt.
So this whole India's movie soft power is very, very visible across the country. I mean, randomly people would say Namaste and even Vanakkam. And
cool.
Ram. And people would ask, Aap kaise ho? And they don't know how the answer and they don't want us to answer. Yeah, Cairo station. We were waiting for a train. There's this another train that had stopped there, and there's this guy who looked at us/me and said that Indian, and then he started singing and dancing that Haige Pan Banaras Wala.
This guy was standing in the train, like he was standing at the train door inside and dancing. And he was dancing actually so well.
And this is so cool, man.
So these are the kind of stories, historical trivia, experiences, and all such awesome fun things that we're going to be listening in today's episode. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Misadventures of a Sneaker, a travel podcast. And what's special for today? Well, we're taking you to a mega historical country, one that has most of the wonders of the world places, lots of UNESCO heritage sites, and that means lots and lots of stories. We are taking you to Egypt. So I went to Egypt on a vacation a few years back, and Egypt is a place so full of stories that I had such a fabulous time there. It was literally like, the history books coming alive. And so I've been wanting to host an episode on Egypt for quite some time, but I was looking for the perfect guest, someone who's fond of history, maybe even historical fiction, someone who'd be aware of lots of trivia about the places. And I did find someone absolutely perfect for this. We have with us Devika and Nikhil, two mega well-read folks. I'm thrilled that Devika and Nikhil, you guys chose this destination to come and speak with us on the podcast today. I'm really looking forward to our conversation. But before that, let's take a quick little break before we start. Hey, do you know we write a travel-themed newsletter every week? Yep. And in each newsletter, we write about different destinations and travel experiences from around the world. In fact, you will get lots of details about this particular episode too in our newsletter. Photos, itineraries, stay, and food recommendations, and a great place to connect with us if you have any questions. Head over to misadventuresofasneaker.substack.com. That's misadventuresofasneaker.substack.com. You'll find the link in our bio as well. Thank you. Hi, Devika. Hey, Nikhil.
So welcome.
Hello.
So I do follow both Devika and Nikhil on their Twitter handles. So I have already had a chance to read through several of the stories that they have written about in this specific trip. But still, because several of our listeners don't know you guys that well, I'd like to ask you a few questions. These are, kind of travel related ones. Not specific to Egypt, but also can be made specific to Egypt kind of questions. So let me start off. So like I said in the introduction, you guys are like super well-read folks. So tell me, when you guys plan a vacation, both Egypt in specific as well as the ones that you've been to before, how much do books and novels influence you in choosing your destination, in choosing experiences within that destination?
I can respond there. So, I don't know if Nikhil really reads books anymore. I definitely read a lot of books. And this particular trip was definitely influenced by a book series that I was reading. It's a set of set of mysteries set in Egypt of the last century. And it's called Amelia Peabody series by this author called Elizabeth Peters. And there's a series of 20 books, and I've just been obsessed about it for since about this time last year. So that's sort of why that definitely influenced our decision go to Egypt. But yeah, in preparation for this, I also read a really large history book on ancient Egypt, basically, just so that I would get my history right. So yeah, answers to both your questions.
My God, did you need a guide while roaming around there?
No. Our son is more than enough for such things. So
seriously,
yeah,
I mean that was actually going to be a next question to you guys.
So he is very well versed with all the gods and how they look and etc. etc. I mean, even not just history, but even the whole mythology part. So
Rick Riordan or something.
Yes.
No.
It was Rick Riordan. So Rick Riordan has a series called Kane Chronicles, which is based on Egypt mythology, apparently. So we didn't know that he knew a lot. But after we went there and he started telling us, oh, this god is that, this god is that. We were like, oh God, this guy knows more than that.
So I used to keep forcing him to read non-fiction. And then after we reached there and he started showing his smartness in quotes, he was like, now you know that I read non-fiction as well.
No. His point was, through fiction, I have learned so much about Egyptian mythology. So now you should not stop me from reading fiction because I'm learning so much. So that was his point.
Maan gaye tum log.
Yeah.
I am always in favor. Nikhil is the one who needed.
Wow. How old was your kid when you guys went to Egypt?
He's 8.
Wow, 8 only. And you've convinced him to read non-fiction.
No, there's a lot of good non-fiction for kids. There's this horrible history series, which is history in a very nice way, in a way that's attractive to kids. So all of that is what Nikhil tries to get him to read.
Oh, how lovely, man. See, usually, I'm talking about several of my other friends who have visited such kind of historical places with their children. The children really get bored. Because many of these historical places are like history books coming alive for all of us. So either through novels or the books that we have read in school, it's all of that coming alive. Whereas that's not the case for the child. Yeah. So we were actually going to ask, how did your son, did he really enjoy?
Yeah, in fact, at least once or twice, he was very pissed off with the guide. He's like, no, that guy is not that guy. The other guy's son. No, that's not. So.
Wow, my God, your guide
was... the guide was right, some sort of legitimate, illegitimate son and daughter, whatever that was. But our son was extremely upset with the guide. And, he started behaving like a normal kid, like an 8-year-old, unhappy with everything around. So.
वरना मुझे लगा कि वो डिस्काउंट कर लेगा गाइड जो बोल रहा है बकवास है I know the best I'm the right one. Which place was this? Do you remember the story behind this particular place?
This was
this was at Karnak temple.
At Karnak temple, okay.
Yeah, she was pointing out some of the engravings on the walls and telling some story which our son thought was the wrong story.
Hey, very cool, man, very cool. Wow, I'm very impressed. Wow, my God, ये तो not just knowing you better हो गया, ये तो knowing all of you all better हो गया.
Another reason for picking Egypt, if I remember it right, was the fact that e-visas were available for Indians, which fortunately or unfortunately ended up being it was a bummer, because I said I'll take care of everything because Devika booked the tickets. I said I'll take the visa.
Oh, so, equal. Very good.
Yeah.
No, he said that because he thought e-visas were available and it'll be very easy. And then he got...
So I logged in and there were 3 options. There is business, there was family, and then tourist. So I said, what is family? So going as a family, is that family? I don't know. So, and then there was... obviously not business, and the other one was tourist. So we are tourists. So, but we are family, but not. So it is a bit of. But then later I realized that family means you are going to meet family.
I would have thought so.
Yeah,
but it's your question is actually also.
And the other one was tourist. So I picked the tourist menu and I signed up, and then it said that, thankfully, much before the payment screen, said that you should have a letter from a travel agent in Egypt for this e-visa to be valid. So
Okay.
I was like, okay, fine, that's difficult. I don't know any travel agent in Egypt. So I left there. Then I called up the Egypt consulate in Mumbai, which has got a very shady looking website. It is actually sponsored by US Arab Chamber of Commerce or something. It's one of those, I mean, it's slightly better than those GeoCities websites, but it doesn't, it's not on a government domain or anything. I mean, it
So
looks
weird.
like a
How do you
scam.
believe it?
It looks like a scam. There was a phone number there. Then I cross-checked it with India's Ministry of External Affairs. Got a list of all the embassies and consulates in India. So this phone number was listed there as well. So I confirmed that it's a legit site. So I called them up. Then I said, how do I take a visa? He said, so the gentleman who refused to reveal his name. So he said that no e-visas. You should not be taking an e-visa because you're booking everything on your own. I said, okay, fine. But what next? He said, go through a travel agent in Bangalore. Then I tried a couple of travel agents. People don't respond. So there's this app called Atlas, Atlys. I mean, the overall user experience is very, very nice. And apparently they charge a premium for getting a visa.
Okay.
But the thing is, I raised a support ticket to see if it's actually gettable in 7 days or whatever. They didn't respond. So I uploaded everything. I stopped at the payment screen, reached out to them via Twitter and WhatsApp and phone and the app and everything.
Anything and everything possible.
So they never responded. So I have this feeling that if a website or an app is really good in terms of the overall user experience, it's just amazing in terms of customer experience as well, the end-to-end customer
experience. They have made an effort, so you'll feel it that way.
But it was not the case, at least in this. So I reached out to even the founder on Twitter. I mean, nobody responded. So I'm like, okay, fine, and leave it. So these things, Devika is not even aware of these things. These are the effort that I actually put in to make this vacation happen.
Okay. Oh my God.
He's trying to score points
I'm
even
revealing
now.
it. I'm revealing it in front of camera for the first time. So
oh my God. Okay, 5 pats on your back from me also.
Thank you. So I called up. So there was this Ria Travel, Akbar Travel. So Akbar Travels, one day the guy said that, okay, you don't need an Egypt travel agent's letter. The next day I called them up and they said, yeah, you really need a travel agent's letter. I'm like, oh, fine, this is very inconsistent. So, okay, anyways, I kept on calling up the Egyptian consulate in Bombay and I started pestering him. And he said, okay, fine, I'll give you a guy's number. He stays somewhere in Thane. So you get in touch with him and he'll take care of everything. So I called him up. I sent Pura passport and one load of
some random guy.
Some random guy selling your own passport. My God!
Not just passport, Pura Aadhaar and pay slips and IT. I mean, whatever they are. So
all originals you've sent.
Yeah, I sent him, and I sent him the money on Google. So in fact, I searched for this guy's number on Google and everywhere to see if this guy is an already known scammer. But his number didn't turn up anywhere. So I thought, okay, fine, whatever. So okay. So what is the maximum loss we are going to incur? So the maximum loss is the courier charges. Okay,
passports,
ID theft and passport lost. I mean, passport lost is fine. Since you can go to the police station and get an FIR done and get a new passport. So it's not the end of the world. So anyways, so I spoke to this guy and he's like, chinta mat kijiye. So we're going to get it in 3 days or 4 days or whatever. So I got the visa. Then after I got the visa, I wasn't sure if it's a legit visa. So
Hamesha excitement is killing me wala stage.
Yeah. So those sticker visas, I'm like, okay, fine. Is this a real one? So visa was a very exciting even before the start of the vacation.
Oh my God. So we didn't have any of this. We went through an agent and it was like just, I had to go
this whole travel agent thing is just time pass apparently.
Yeah.
But we are not that big risk takers. So we wouldn't actually go without a travel agent's letter if that is what the website says. But I know at least 2 sets of people who have been to Egypt very recently with e-visa and no travel agent's letter. Basically, Egypt is one of those chalta hai type of countries like us. So it's okay, but provided you have the guts to do that.
So how did they do it then without the letter?
They don't ask. They don't ask. The website says they're going to ask, but in the real world, they're not going to ask. So it's okay.
How cute this. On your luck. Maine nahi pucha. Tumko mil gaya or whatever. And here we think it's mandatory when they'll put one star mark on top and go in the process. Oh my God. Which airlines did you take from?
Okay, we went by Saudi via Jeddah. Didn't really, we were not really happy due to a variety of reasons. because one, the in-flight thing, the screen didn't work, and
So
two,
boring.
our luggage didn't come, and they
But it
treated us
eventually
like-
came. Come on, see the bright side, Nikhil.
and the air hostess and even the whole crew, everybody, they were like, "Ah, theek hai."
They were
आराम से
bored.
बैठो
You know, like that kind of attitude. Very nice.
So like, हाँ, पैसा दिया है, चुपचाप बैठो types attitude. And then we returned via Doha, Qatar Airways. I mean,
Qatar.
fabulous.
Yeah.
Very
It's a
nice.
stark comparison, man.
Yeah.
Are you the kinds who watches a lot of movies in your on flights, or?
Attu
No,
and
when
I,
you're
so we were
traveling
looking
with
at,
a kid, it becomes important. Right? That's the main thing.
so we were like,
I was so disappointed with this.
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
so disappointed कि कुछ नहीं है.
This is one of the highlights of an international travel, that you can get to watch a movie the entire flight and parents will not
So
say
they
no.
said they will reset it. I mean, in fact, it was not working for a lot of people. So
Nonsense.
and they were like, हाँ, इतना पैसे में इतना ही मिलेगा.
The refund मांगना चाहिए यार. Tweet. You did not come back and tweet. What यार?
From their attitude to us, we realized nothing.
नहीं होने वाला, कुछ
कुछ
फायदा
नहीं होने
नहीं है.
वाला. हाँ, so zero customer centricity.
Yeah.
Saudi.
What to do?
Yeah, Qatar Airways is so amazing. I mean, even with kids, like they make sure they serve the kids first. They're so sweet. They ask if you want extra juice and all of that. Like multiple times they came and they asked about. how
Huge
they-
difference between the two, man. Seriously.
Yeah, huge.
So the trip kind of started off with visa excitement, फिर कुछ flight excitement भी.
Yeah.
So anyone that I know of, other than you guys, have all gone through an agent. So we've never had
No, we are
a
never
visa
going
excitement.
we have no plans of going anywhere through an agent. We are going to plan end to end all on our own.
No, planning and all, yes, but
even
the
if
visa
even if
business
we
and all,
spend
I
up,
would like
I mean,
skip it.
we end up spending more. We don't care.
And losing passport in between.
Yeah.
Yes,
We don't care.
principles.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, I think Egypt was the toughest trip that we have ever planned, and even the experiences while there, I think there were a lot of attempts to scam. A lot of that happened. So I think
No,
this
no.
was a
I mean, one of the very interesting experience that I had was people started calling me Shah Rukh Khan. So that has never happened anywhere ever.
Haughty,
Somebody like
haughty.
me with this kind of face and this kind of skin color being called Shah Rukh Khan.
Hey,
so,
I was called Kareena Kapoor. Okay, so
Come on.
Yeah.
ये कौन सी मूवी है कि शाहरुख और करीना साथ में थे भाई?
Ashoka.
So
Ooh, my God, you guys completely arriving in life in Egypt.
in my defense, I was
so-
called Kareena Kapoor only once. Nikhil kept being called Shah Rukh Khan.
Shah Rukh Khan. I'm like, no ways. Like, there's
Did you
something
stop
seriously
them?
wrong. Yeah.
Why did you stop them? You should just said yeah or something, or just done one
No,
like that.
but when you, so this whole India's movie soft power is very, very visible across the country. I mean, randomly people would say namaste, namaste, and even vanakkam. So this was one of the last days, somewhere in Aswan, at least twice vanakkam. Okay, and
That's
Ram
cool.
Ram.
Wow.
And then you get, I mean, people say Maharaja, oh India, Maharaja. Okay? And then suddenly Amitabh Bachchan, Shah Rukh Khan, Dharmendra, and all these, and people would ask, "Aap kaise ho?" And they don't know the answer, and they don't want us to answer. Randomly, people are going to ask you, "Aap kaise ho?" So these kind of things. So once we were walking through, I mean, so this is market in Aswan. And then suddenly a couple of kids come to me and say, Hind, Al Hind. I'm like, yeah, Al Hind. Okay, they're like, okay, fine, thank you, bye. So we just wanted to check if
That's
you're, yeah, that's it. So
whether they were right or wrong.
Yeah, which station? Our Cairo station. We were waiting for a train. There's this another train that had stopped there, and there's this guy who looked at us/me and said that Indian. And then he started dancing. He started singing and dancing that "Khai ke paan banaras wala." So,
this guy was standing in the train, like he was standing at the train door inside and dancing. And he was dancing actually so well.
This is so cool, man.
Yeah.
This is so cool. So I was in Jordan and I had a very similar experience, but then no one called me Kareena Kapoor, but they would come and tell me, if you meet Shah Rukh Khan or Amitabh Bachchan, four, five names. If you meet them, tell them people from Jordan love them. I mean, so at least like a dozen times. And I'm like, unko kya lagta hai, hum log jaake mil sakte hai kya in logon se? But they've come and told us so. But if you meet them, can you please tell them we love this particular song? They are still kind of one generation. So none of them will say Deepika Padukone or Ranveer Singh. They will all go to Amitabh and
No, there's another guy, Tiger Shroff. I mean, I was a bit surprised. I heard that name.
I didn't hear that. I heard
Not
Salman Khan.
just that. So you are in a cab and you enter any of these museum places, and then the driver tells the security that Hind or Al Hind, and then so the security. So I mean, this is like a standard response. So they smile and say one of these. So they respond to one of these terms, "Aap kaise ho?" or Shah Rukh Khan or "Oh India." Al Hind. So I mean, so much excitement all over when they realize that we are from India.
Cute Max, yeah. तुमको तो एकदम हीरो हो गया तुम वहां जाके. So tell us. So now we already know how you have, or rather, why you planned this trip. It's because of the books that you read and the fact that you wanted to see all that come alive. How did you go about planning this trip? Because you said that you guys didn't go through an agent. So how did you guys go about? Because if you ask me, we had an agent through whom, I mean, the planning was entirely done by me. So for example, if I go through an agent, I will just make sure that they take care of my commute, they take care of my visa, and they take care of my hotel booking. But which hotel I choose, which cruise I choose, which time to go where I choose. So I try and do that, which is what we did for the Egypt trip. But you guys didn't even take an agent for Egypt, which is like I'm saying, you're the first friend that I have who did the entire thing yourself. So how did you go about planning your entire trip? What were your sources like?
No, we just usual, right? You Google and you look at 7-day Egypt itinerary, and then you look at what all you want to see there. One thing I was very sure was that I wanted to go to Abu Simbel, because I didn't even know if that was part of the usual itinerary. But I don't know if either of you is an Agatha Christie fan, but there's this there's this Murder on the Nile, right? So in that they're taking a cruise, and there's a interesting scene which happens at the Abu Simbel temple, and there's a nice description also of the temple. So I was very sure I wanted to go there. So that one item was definitely finalized, and then Cairo and Luxor obviously had to be there. And I remember I was asking you also at that time, where all did you go, and you guys suggested at Alexandria as well. So yeah, those were us. We wanted to keep it largely, ancient history focused, and we didn't really look at even modern history. Like, we are both very much into history in general, but we didn't even look, post post first century AD. We didn't look at that at all. It was ancient history focused tour completely.
सीधा 3000 साल पहले चले गए.
Yeah, Alexandria was the only exception there.
I loved Alexandria, but then Alexandria needs a little bit more time than a regular itinerary kind of a thing. Yeah. Usually, it's always like a 1 day or a half day thing, and I don't like it. Anyway, okay. So let's start with touchdown Cairo. And that too, you guys have gone, I mean, you guys traveled in the month of October, right?
Yes. The thing was on. Yeah, the problem was on.
Yeah. Did you see things happening, or
no? So this is after. So actually, we traveled a week after 2 tourists and 1 Egyptian were killed in Alexandria. Exactly a week after that.
Look, alak adventurous log ho.
No, we were also wondering, should we go, should we not go? Then we thought, why are we, like, that's a different country. We know they share a border, but it's not like anything will happen here. That was our assumption. And largely turned out to be true. There were, tons of tourists. We didn't really see anything which, we didn't even get to know that there was a war happening in the next country.
Nice, interesting. Because there were times that we have seen this huge wall graffitis that they make, for protests and all that. So we saw things happening when we were in the Tahrir Square in Cairo. So there were things happening, but I mean, there's a lot of police bandobast around that place because it's full of embassies and all of that as well. So you don't feel off, but you won't stay out late in the evening and think, late in the evening, but like beyond night kind of.
Yeah, which we anyway don't do. I mean, when you're traveling with a young kid, it's difficult to do anything in the night. So,
true. Okay, tell us. So you touched on Cairo. How was it?
Started with a bag. Let Nikhil tell the story.
So one of our bags didn't come. So we waited and waited and waited. And the hotel guy had sent a cab. So we waited till the next flight from Jeddah to Cairo for our bags to arrive.
We were just hyperventilating that the luggage hasn't arrived. And these guys are like, no, it'll come in the next flight.
Come in the next flight.
Apparently there
wait for 1.5 hours or so, it'll come in the next flight.
Jeddah Cairo flight. So it'll just keep going.
So a lot of these Hajj travelers were on our flight. So it had a lot of the Zamzam water that they were getting. And so they happily, sent our bag in the next flight.
Oh, how convenient. ये तो full हो गया तो अगले में आ जाएगा.
And in fact, we met an Indian guy there, an Indian working, a young chap
Hmm,
working in Cairo. And that guy's bag didn't come at all at that day. So,
So you were lucky.
yeah.
तो कुछ नहीं होगा. किस्मत अच्छा किस्मत रहा है.
And this is before, and Egypt, Wi-Fi, for Wi-Fi's, you need OTP and all those things, unlike most other countries. So, we did, this is before you actually step out and get a SIM. So we didn't have SIM, and this guy was obviously trying to call us, our driver.
The driver guy.
And we used the Indian guy's hotspot and called up the driver, and the driver was like, "No, where are you? I'm going back," and all those things. We said, "Okay, fine, leave." So it is already easily about 1.5 hours past his
during daytime.
No, this is night, 10:30.
Oh,
11.
okay.
So that guy is like, "No, I'm not waiting." We said, "Okay, fine. Chale jao." We took a SIM, almost booked an Uber, and then this guy is like, "No, I'll come."
Oh God, starting में excitement हो गया, चलो. And when did you guys realize, by the way, that your visa was a true visa and not a chapa visa? Was it here?
After we landed.
After you landed only. Oh
Yeah.
God. No, India immigration.
Because there is no way you can access those characters, infinite number of characters that you see on a sticker visa. I don't know of a way to verify. Yeah.
So तब तक excitement रहा. My God, yaar. Cairo airport itself was great.
Cairo airport was very exciting. We went to the hotel, and then like a really rich lady, Devika was like, "No, tip karo, driver ko."
So the guy waited 2 hours. Yeah, come on.
So we happily tipped the driver, and by the time we reached the hotel was like, "We're going to take how many of our Egyptian pounds from you as taxi charges." Yeah, that's
but
when
hadn't you already
that...
paid him? So double payment ho gaya?
No, it was supposed to be included in the hotel ka charge.
Because they were like, "I'm so rich."
Oh my God, I have rich friends. I'm so happy.
Yeah, so that happened. Yeah, before this, obviously, we exchanged some dollars for Egyptian pounds. Not really.
So you carried dollars and went.
Yeah, some small amounts so that we could tip this guy.
No, but our hotel was also very interesting because we decided not to stay in Cairo. We wanted to stay in Giza and have the pyramids in front of us and all of that. We are both very price conscious travelers. Okay, we won't book very, very high end hotels. So we booked what we thought was a reasonable looking hotel via booking.com, and we went. And it looks like some bhoot bungalow. Okay, there's no paint. It's all like exposed brick and all of that. And then we go in, and the lift doesn't have a door. And we're like, okay. And
oh my God.
As in when the lift moves up and down,
you can see wall.
Yeah, you can touch the wall. Yeah. So
like we thought it was a very nice hotel, at least from the photos. And then we get to the 6th floor, and there it looks very, very nice. The rooms are lovely. The bathroom is nice, all of that. But then outside it looks like this. So, yeah.
But the thing about hotels in that area in Giza is obviously everything is pyramid view. So you have pyramid view, you have pyramid views, you have pyramids view, and you have all those everything is pyramid view.
So you're struggling to locate a hotel on Google Maps. It was pyramid view something, and there are like 20 different pyramid view something.
इधर में ऐसा है या उधर में ऐसा है या उधर में ऐसा है kind.
Yeah,
how cool, man.
The pyramids are so large that
from anywhere you can actually see
the view.
Yeah. So about this hotel that you were saying, I actually saw one YouTube video a year back or 2 years back about this Airbnb, which is the best Airbnb of Giza, supposed to be most highly rated Airbnb in Giza. So this girl enters the Airbnb, and it is this completely dilapidated kind of a building, no paint. You can just see brick. She enters this lift, like how you was just mentioning, and she goes up to the room, and the lift door opens, and it is phenomenally luxurious. And the window opens, and it's just the pyramids right in front. They can jump and you'll fall on top of one pyramid.
But apart from the actual building and how it looked from outside, interiors, like Devika mentioned, it was great. And even interaction, hospitality, and all those things, it is great.
Very nice. So even actually on this, when we were staying there, we were staying in Cairo. We were staying in a hotel just by the Nile. And like the evening that we came back from seeing the pyramids, We were on some flyover, and on the flyover, I was looking around, telling the driver that, "Yahan pe, is this like one of your poorer areas of the city?" He said, no, this is not at all the poorer area. आप क्या बोल रहे हो? सारे high-rise buildings है. I said, लेकिन किसी के बाहर भी, it's not, there's no finishing at all. So he said the reason is because it's, so if they don't have to pay that additional property tax if the building is not finished from outside. So everything, he said, andar is chakachak, bahar mein 90% of the houses will be like this because of this property tax thing.
I remember this in Cairo as well. So all the buildings were very, I mean, they're not really black and white. They were very uninspiring and ekdam boring.
Unfinished looking.
Yeah, all exposed brick types. It's like maybe this is the fashion here. Maybe it's like this is how
So that's what
he said. The property tax is so significantly higher for a finished building versus this kind of unfinished. All buildings stop at this level.
Okay.
So cool, no?
Suddenly, this makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you saw the pyramids at night. Your first view of the pyramids
and then,
was
of
all
course,
lit
in the
up.
morning.
No, I think the night view, like we looked out of the window and there's this dark black shape like there. It was such a goosebumps moment. I can't tell you. Like,
ooh, it's really, it's like such so many things coming alive for us. How much we have read about and seen pyramid pictures and all that. My God. So day one was getting into the Giza pyramids.
That was day, okay, that is day zero. Yeah, day one was getting into the pyramids. Early in the morning, we took a Kareem cab and that guy drove us around and around and around and around.
Yeah, that was the first cab.
That is the first camp.
What
is this? Why did he go around and around and around?
We said the Giza pyramid ke gate pe leke jao, and that guy took us somewhere around all over the place. I mean, which is like some 3 kilometers from where we were staying. So yeah, and that's when at the Giza pyramid ticket counter, that's when we realized that they don't accept cash from foreigners. They accept only credit card. Yeah. So it's like, oh my God. I mean, if I remember it right, of the places that we actually went to, there were only 2 places that accepted cash. One was the Luxor temple, and then the other one was the Memphis Open Air Museum. Rest all the places, credit cards only.
Oh my God. So you had
from foreigners. I mean, foreigners are foreigners. For this, at least, of course, you walk into a random store and 1.5 liter pani ka bottle, they're going to charge more unless you actually bargain and say ki foreigner wala rate nahi, apna normal wala rate de do. I mean, we are Indians and Hind and Egypt and all used to do whatever this thing.
Even in a supermarket.
No, not a large supermarket.
Not in supermarkets, but
smaller places.
Yeah, so things keep happening.
That's so unique. So, for example, for us, I never had this experience. We'll have guide, and she's a local, so she'll say, no, I'll get the SIM card for you. So she'll get off the vehicle first, get it, and then we'll go behind her and pay. So I remember this. Actually, this like when you're saying now, it's kind of making sense in that way. So why is it that always she got out first and then we got out behind her and things?
So this distinction between Egyptians and foreigners, so it's everywhere in not so good ways as far as money is concerned for us. Train travel, so they won't let us take tickets for a third class train, so only second and first class for foreigners, and we have to pay in dollars. So these are, I mean, even the overnight trains for special rates for foreigners. So you have a normal ticket for Egyptians and an additional slip thing for foreigners.
Tourism is a very, very, very big way that they actually,
so this changed,
like even in trains.
Train thing, so the rates for foreigners, this thing changed, I think, a year ago or so, last December or so.
Oh, so before that it was the same, is it?
It was the same, yeah.
Okay.
And I don't recommend anyone traveling by train in Egypt unless it's a day train or it's a 3-hour long journey or something. I mean, even then, probably roads are better. So I was trying to book Aswan to Cairo flight. Okay, there are 2 airlines. I mean, unnecessarily, I checked the safety rating of one of the airlines. It wasn't really great. Then I thought, okay, fine, chuck the airline completely. So then I thought maybe I'll book a train. So I Googled around for trains from Aswan to Cairo. And that's when I realized that, so there are essentially 2 websites. One is the Egyptian National Railway website, which says that booking for foreigners is not working.
Oh.
Okay, thank you. So left that. So there's this, it's called the Abela sleeping train. So I thought, okay, fine. So we'll try that. So I tried to register and then somehow, it won't let me book. There is one of those in a first name, middle name thing. I mean, I put middle name, I put a space and somehow I managed to register, but it wouldn't let me book. Fine, I left there. Then I said, oh, okay, let me Google further. So I reached this website called 12Go. So 12Go seemed like a legit travel train booking site for anywhere like Malaysia, everywhere. So I happily booked through that website. And then the last message after I paid, the message stated that you will have to collect the ticket from the agent in Egypt.
Oh, it's a via media kind of a thing. Oh, might as well have
my
done the
God,
agent.
that's a scam. But the good thing is, so I finally got a travel agent's number, somebody in Cairo. So I chatted with him and I booked the rest of the tickets, and as in the Cairo Luxor ticket, I booked it through him.
Directly.
Directly.
Okay.
No, it was, I didn't actually save much money comparing 12Go and the guy directly. It wasn't much of an advantage.
The process was probably a little easier.
But then I could just WhatsApp him and then.
Good. We didn't have any of these things because we did all our bookings through an agent there, no?
Back to train journeys. I need to finish this up. Yeah. So train journeys, the Cairo to Luxor train was a sleeping train. Okay. People have romanticized this whole thing of it's like the 70s feel and whatever nonsense on the internet, but it is not. It is our Purana first AC cubicles, claustrophobic cubicles. So Devika and Atu, so they were in one of the cubicles and I was in another coach altogether. It's like one of those straight out of 70s cubicle. And unlike our setup, so they have a ladder, extendable ladder, and you can climb up and all. The food was free after paying a lot of money.
It was just bread. I remember the food was free. It was just bread that we got.
No, we had decent food, but the thing
good, and it was way too much. We just couldn't finish it. It was enough for.
Oh my God, we just got bread. I think vegetarian. That's why we just got bread or something. I don't know.
But it wasn't great. Great because my seat was somewhere else, and then Devika and Atu, they had to sleep on the same berth.
Ouch.
So, and
overall, I think we also booked trains because the timings were somehow not working out for us, the flight timings. But overall, flights and trains are about the same in terms of cost, and probably flights will be more comfortable, I think.
And even Luxor to Aswan, we thought maybe we should take a cab because it's fairly short distance. And then like, why should we take a cab? Let's go by train. Okay, fine. So we
thought, okay, let's save some money.
Correct. Obviously, anyone will think that way, no?
So we went to the station. One thing is at all the railway stations, there were cops asking us, where are you going, and all those questions. And the whole, okay, we are from India. So they said, okay, fine, please go sit there. And so that level of hospitality, hospitality is not just about the hospitality industry, but in general people. So, of course, there are people who scam you, but then
there are also nice people.
At least in two of the railway stations, we had this experience. Cops asking us to go and sit somewhere. Yeah. So we had to pay in dollars, and no third class tickets, only second class or first class tickets. So we took. So that was an okay type journey, like one of our better ones.
Except that the train was a couple of hours late for a 3 hour.
So this was Luxor to Aswan, and the Aswan to Cairo train. What is that train set called?
Okay, I do not care what it is, but I think it was the worst train journey I've had in my life. One night train journey. The train was amazing. Like it looked fantastic, but it was only sitting. Like you couldn't even recline the seats.
Oh my God!
Amazing seats, amazing everything. And then you have people coming and wiping, everywhere. Like not
spotless.
Train, spotless. Amazing train. But you'll have to sit and sleep.
They didn't have like sleeper berths at all.
No, it's like you
couldn't even recline the
really
seats.
fast train.
And they left the lights on. Who leaves lights on the entire night? Such bright lights.
So
I
we
did not sleep the entire night.
Thankfully, the train didn't have. Occupancy was very, very low, and so we moved the armrests, beach mein.
Right.
The seats were rotatable and all those things.
Fancy, you went in like
fancy Talgo trains. But the thing is, no, you'll have to sit and sleep. And sitting is one of those. You're sitting in that barber shop mein baitha ho, so you have to sit like this and sleep. I'm like, boss, how can you sleep like this?
Oh my God! So I had like absolutely the opposite experience. I had a really nice time in the train. I mean, we went in an overnight sleeper train. I think ours was Cairo to Aswan. We did the train journey, and it was
and probably you
overnight
paid
thing.
less.
I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. But when I actually 2 days back, I asked, did we have a bad time in the train? He said, no, it was so nice. In fact, that ladder thing and all, we were so amazed. It was such a cute thing. So how it was is that
So this is a first AC kind of, as in it was a closed coupe.
it was a closed coupe. So just the two of us. It had a small sink. And like I said, we only got bread. But our guide had told us that you're a vegetarian, you're high chances you won't get good food. So she told us you buy some falafels or something before and go. So we took a falafel box and we went in. We just got bread for food. We went in. It was a coupe. You go in. It's a proper seat. You sit around.
This is called a sleeping train.
Must be a sleeping train, correct. And then we were wondering how will the second person sleep, because when we are seeing the place, you can't see a second berth and you can't even see how will this berth that you are sitting on become a second one. Then at night at 9 o'clock or something, there'll be an attendant who will come and he'll just do some maneuvering of the second thing and ding, 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 and he'll be in the second thing. Same kind of thing.
While on trains, everybody expects tips and they actually ask for money. Everybody, including, so when we were leaving Cairo and we were on our way back, the luggage had to be kept in the scanner. So I was doing it myself and suddenly one guy comes and so he lifts it a bit and he's like, tip.
Seriously?
Like, so why did you even do that?
Did Devika feel rich in these places as well?
No. After a while, I was like, money is just flowing through our hands, right? Because every single person we have to tip. And I think that was the reason we decided to take the train finally, because we were like, we are spending way more than we had planned to spend.
Wow.
Tip everybody, everywhere.
Acha, so it's kind of like our Shatabdi trains yahan pe, where at the end of a meal, the guy will walk around asking for a tip kinds. Like from the stories that you are saying, it seems to be much crazier in Egypt.
Yeah, Abu Simbel, he was asking like double or triple what the normal places were asking, just for like one piece of tissue. Like that's the exchange. You give this money, I will give you tissue.
Money and you get tissue in exchange.
Oh my God, for tissues also, this is crazy.
And while not on tipping, but on scams, okay, fine. We told you about the, not really scams, it's just us being less smart and smart. So Giza pyramid thing. So we told you about how the taxi guy
went round and round and round and round.
Another taxi guy, this is Uber. So we had gone to the museums and all those places and we shopped. We went to the supermarket and bought a lot of stuff. And also on our way back to Giza hotel, so this guy took us to a place and suddenly he'll see a barrier there. He'll go all the way around and come back to that place again. Google will say that, okay, fine, take left. Obviously, he can't take a left. He'll go straight. And then we did at least twice or so. Attu started crying. So I'm
so really super scared because this is like 9 p.m. in the night in Cairo. And we are not reaching.
And that way you booked a Uber, right? You would think that that would take you back safely.
Some of these guys, they don't speak English, and Google Translate Arabic wasn't in line with his Arabic or whatever. So that is one. In Luxor, there are all these horse carts. So So we thought we'll take one from the hotel to Luxor Museum.
No, we didn't want to take. We wanted to just walk. And then this boy kept coming after us, and he was like 11, 12 years old. We're like, okay, let him earn some money. And
before that, we said no to a couple of cabs.
Yeah, we said no to
cabs were like 50 EGPs, okay? So this guy said 40 EGP. We were like, fine, 40 EGP, okay, fine.
Plus poor kid.
And then he started telling his name is Mohammed, okay? And he said he was 11 years old, and he said he goes to school and then comes back and does this. He rides a horse cart and all this thing. So okay, fine, ekdam pally, and we were like, oh, kya mast banda hai. We got down. I paid him 40, like 40, one person 40. Yeah. Then he's throwing the currency note niche. I'm like, you can't do this. He spoke broken English and
oh my God,
you can't do this. You can't throw a currency note. Aisa.
He became totally Indian parent and said, how can you throw money on the ground? This is money, you know. Finally, we somehow, I think we paid higher than what we had said.
But we paid higher. But we didn't pay as much as he wanted, but we did pay higher.
Oh my God, these guys are so smart. Wow,
This
like
is the
you said,
level
it's
you
not us
are.
getting scammed, it's them being extra smart.
Huh.
After
You
that, we got
have
so
to.
scared, we refused to take anything. Like all the way, we walked some 2-3 kilometers back to a hotel because like we can't trust anybody.
Yeah, man. I mean, every time, how much can you check, right? What is it per person? Is it per
Yeah.
kilometer? You'll have to go
Yeah.
to that level.
Yeah. So,
Wonderful. So, oh my God, like I'm saying, I'm unaware of these things. I'm absolutely unaware of this. It's a joy of traveling without agents, man. I mean, I prefer that way more, but then for a place like Egypt, we just couldn't, or rather, we
Yeah,
didn't.
like I said, I think Egypt was the toughest. Like in terms of scams, we just became so hyper
so
vigilant after all
people
we
have
did.
told us that Cambodia is full of scammers, but we've been to Cambodia. We didn't feel.
No, even I
People
didn't
ask
feel
for
that.
money.
We always
People,
thought, oh, we're from India. Who's going to scam us? Right?
Scammers,
We know
yeah. We're the
everything's scam
smartest
there.
of all.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's go back to so you enter the pyramid complex. How was the experience seeing it up close and personal, Pehli bar? Who was more enamored and who
no,
was
actually,
more
when
starry-eyed?
really close, you don't get it. I mean, you don't see the enormity of this whole thing. Only when you're farish, you get the sheer size of this whole thing. And when you're really close, it's nothing. It's just
Like stone,
thousands of stones.
Yeah.
One on top of the other.
Did you get a chance to go inside the pyramid? Like
This
any of
pyramid,
these?
no. The Giza pyramid, we did not. Dahshur and
Saqqara, yeah.
Saqqara, yeah. So those pyramids, we did go in. I conveniently skipped one of them, and Devika got stuck inside. Okay, story from Devika.
Yeah, because why I'm asking is when we went to the Great Pyramids, we were not allowed to enter. There was something happening and we couldn't enter. But then after that, I know of people who've even gone into the pyramids. So we never got a chance to enter any of these.
Since you mentioned that, so Egypt is always work in progress. So
that is true. That is true. Actually speaking, so we went in 2019. And then I was just looking at before a recording, I just went through some pictures of Egypt, like current pictures, kya chal raha hai. There have been 2 or 3 excavations that have happened after, like major ones. There's something in Tahrir Square, which is like a big obelisk or something, which was not there when we went at all.
I was about to tell you that. So it's always work in progress.
Yeah.
So when you go there next, you're going to see more things than what we actually saw. So that's how Egypt works.
What fun. I just love such places, man. Like you can keep on going and you'll find new stories every time. I'm very fond. Yeah. Tell.
Yeah.
So then
and Devika got stuck in. So I entered the Dahshur one, and the second Dahshur one, I conveniently skipped it because I somehow felt that it was not a great idea to get in. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Saqqara, of course, is the large archaeological site, right? So that's where, we spent them this was on day 3, I think. We went to Alexandria on day 2, and then day 3, we went to Saqqara, Dahshur, and Memphis. We hired a driver because all these places are a little bit outside both Giza and Cairo. So in the morning, we spent in Saqqara, and then towards afternoon, just before lunch, we went to this place called Dahshur. I don't know if you went to Dahshur.
No, I haven't been to either of these.
Okay, all right. So Saqqara, you can think of it like a Hampi or a Angkor Wat complex. It's this huge complex, lots of tombs and lots of pyramids. There were no temples, I think, but there was this gigantic underground cave where they've buried, they have mummified the sacred bulls. So they have something called a serapeum, where it's like this underground tunnel, and on either side there's this huge caskets inside which there are basically mummified bulls. So that was a weird thing.
Bull to be mummified is like a massive creature, man.
Exactly. And imagine they had dozens of them. And in other tunnels, apparently they had like rabbits and a lot of other creatures. I forgot what all.
They worship them.
Yeah, they used to worship them apparently.
Okay.
So we entered a couple of pyramids and all within the Saqqara site. The main one is a step pyramid, which was the first pyramid ever built by this guy called Djoser, DJSO or something.
Okay.
Joseph. So, and while we were there, something interesting happened, which is so we were the only group initially inside the pyramid, and it was very spooky and all of that to be inside this. Technically, 4,500-year-old pyramid, because this one is even older than the Great Pyramid. It's about, I think, 100 years older than the Great Pyramid. So we were inside that. And then this group of Dutch tourists come in and they speak to us in Dutch. And we were like, no, we can't speak Dutch. And then thankfully, one of them knew English, and they asked us, is it okay if we switch off the lights for a bit?
Okay.
inside the pyramid. Okay. And they were like, we want to feel the energy of the Zozer.
Oh
So
my
we
God.
were okay. But yeah,
Already
we were like,
spooky.
okay, then we were like, okay, fine. And then they switched off the lights and it was pitch dark. Like I've never experienced blackness like that because you're inside this stone pyramid, right? And they kept it off for like a minute or so. And my son was like, no, I'm so scared. I'm so scared. But super experience. I totally loved it. Yeah, because you're right next to where they buried the Joser, right? So, and yeah, we were feeling the energy.
Spooky Max. Oh my God. Were you
Yeah.
there? But were you also there, Nikhil? Or this was one you didn't go
No,
for?
I was there. I actually skipped only one. We got into more pyramids.
Yeah, a couple of them in Saqqara itself. And then we went to this Dahshur. So Dahshur, again, we went only, again, at my insistence. So Dahshur is one of the places that the archaeologists in that Egyptian mystery, which I spoke about, right? That's one of the sites where they sort of dig. So that's why I wanted to go there because I wanted to see where.
It's a curved pyramid, right?
It's a bent pyramid. It's called
bent
a bent
pyramid.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was again the first bent pyramid was the first like properly, not the step kind, but the smooth pyramid. And unfortunately, they built it at too steep an angle, so that's why it bent, or rather, it started coming apart. So then they had to sort of
change
close it at a smaller angle. So that's why it's called the bent pyramid. And then there's one more pyramid, which is the first proper smooth pyramid, which is the red pyramid. So that was the second thing that the same king built, King Sneferu, I think it was, who built all of these first smooth pyramids. So yeah, we went inside the red pyramid, and it was nice. I mean, it was very steep. Like
so you walked down?
Yes. So what happens is you have to climb a little bit part way up the face of the pyramid. That's the entrance. And then you have these steps which are leading down. Steps are, of course, man-made in the sense that they're more artificial. Initially, it was a passage, but obviously that's more difficult for people. So they've built steps. And it's a very, very steep passage. And keep climbing. And you have to pretty much bend over and climb down because it's such a small passage. So we were all, bent over and sort of crawling along, and we went there. And it was okay. Like you go to the bottom of the pyramid, then you have to climb another set of steps because the pharaoh can't be at the bottom of the pyramid, right? It has to be a little bit elevated. So they build another platform, and you have to go there and see whatever space. Obviously, the pharaoh isn't there anymore. The body is not there anymore. But we went there and we climbed back, and the next was the bent pyramid. So there Nikhil said, I can't do this because the passage in the bent pyramid was even more steep, and it was smaller also. So Nikhil, being a little bit taller than me and our son, obviously he had to bend even more to go down. So only my son and I, we went in. And it was again very, very steep. We were going very.
It was around lunchtime. So it is around very few people inside or outside.
Yeah.
So it was around lunchtime.
Yeah. And it was just us, and actually there was a guard there, and I think just us. So we went there, and we got to the bottom of the pyramid, like bottom of the passage, and suddenly the lights went out. Imagine.
Oh my God. I was going to ask, is it already dimly lit as well?
Or is it like lights?
They have lights.
Yeah, they have lights.
Oh,
and imagine inside the pyramid, the lights are gone.
So I was outside. So I told there's a security guy outside, and there's another guy who came with lunch. He offered lunch. I'm like, no, I don't need lunch, but my wife and son, they're inside. He's like, me.
What does it mean? Like, chal jayega.
Ho jayega. So it was about whatever 5-10 minutes or. So I said they are still inside in broken English / Google Translation. And they said, after 5 minutes, I'll go and check if they don't come out. So I said, okay, fine. At least somebody will get them out. So I said, okay, fine. Then I said, I think there's no power inside. So
how do you realize that?
No, it was more dark than the usual dark. So I peeped inside, and it was very dark. So I said, there's no electricity. So he's like, oh, power cut. Then he.
So in meanwhile, I am like, so what we had reached the end of the passage, and we could see a set of more wooden staircases going up. Again, I'm guessing similar to the earlier pyramid. Pharaoh is somewhere up there. So we were thinking of climbing that when this happened. Okay. So of course my son got scared again because it's total darkness. Luckily, I was carrying my phone. I had almost decided to give my phone back to Nikhil because it was so difficult. I was wearing pants and it didn't have pockets. So I couldn't, climb down carrying the phone. But luckily, last minute, I decided to actually carry my phone. It had a torch. So at least I switched on the torch.
Thank God for small mercies. My God.
I'm thinking if we had not had that torch.
Oh my God.
I got my son to sit, calm down, and we sat there thinking it will come back.
Man.
I realized after a couple of minutes it's not coming back. I was like, okay, let's climb back up, right? And we could sense that we were the only ones there because nobody else was talking. Nobody else switched on a mobile phone light, nothing like that. Total darkness except for my torch. So we started climbing back up. And as we were climbing back up, I started hearing footsteps behind me. I was like, what was this? Why are nobody has been
serious?
Yeah, till then. And suddenly there are footsteps. I pushed my son. I was like, you go, I will come. And I couldn't climb, right? Because it's very, very steep. And I'm trying to climb up, but I couldn't climb fast enough to keep up with my fear because this is footsteps.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so my son, thankfully, he could climb because he's shorter and he could climb fast. And I kept having to take breaks and I could hear these footsteps coming closer and closer. And then finally I was like, okay, if the mummy is going to kill me, just
kill me. Just get done with it. I can't take it anymore.
So this one didn't actually have a mummy, right? So this one, nobody was ever buried there. So after getting out,
king built the Red Pyramid. So the Red Pyramid would have been where the guy actually was. So technically there should not have been a mummy there at all. But anyway, so finally I looked back and I saw there's this another mobile phone torch behind me. I was like, what?
Oh my God.
Why did this guy not switch on lights when we were there? And they didn't speak at all. So yeah, that was my crazy getting stuck in there. And we didn't even look back. Okay, so we got out and we just ran. I didn't even look to see who these people were who scared me so much. We just went back.
I wish you had a conversation with them. Like, are you guys crazy? Kuch do sentence to baat kar lete
When did you
niche
die?
yaar. Where is a white cloth around you?
Yeah. So.
Oh my God, mega spooky story. Shocks.
Yeah. I mean, I consider myself a very rational individual, but I was so and I couldn't even tell my son. You go.
You have to keep a brave face for him. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm not scared of anything except ghosts. I'm extremely scared of ghosts. And don't ask me why, but I am scared of ghosts. Oh my God. Okay.
Let's take a quick little break. More stories from Devika and Nikhil on the other side. Hey, this is not really a commercial break. It's a request to you to check out our labor of love, a newsletter on Substack called Sneaky Footprint. It's from our team at Misadventures of a Sneaker. We write about travels, vacations, travel tips, anecdotes, lots of pictures, and of course a suggested itinerary too. Check it out at misadventuresofasneaker.substack.com. And we have now started a new service of curating travel itineraries to destinations made just for you. So if you want to get a vacation planned, leave us a note on Instagram or a DM on our Substack page, and we will plan something super special for you. Please support us by following and subscribing to our newsletter and Instagram page, Misadventures of a Sneaker. All the links are in the show notes. Thank you. Welcome back.
So you had an extremely exciting pyramid experience, man. For us, it was just like, I mean, we had we'd only been to the Great Pyramids, and there was some big music concert that they were setting up the whole place for. So it was a lovely experience to see the pyramid itself. And then how they say that the Nile once, flooded this entire area, but all you can see is brown now. You can't see anything except brown. So you wonder ki kaise hua, kya hua, ki once upon a time and
when
all.
you're talking about Nile and greenery and lack of greenery, I don't know. So my concept of to have a farm, you need rain. So Egypt is a place where it doesn't rain even probably once a year or something. And then you have lush green farms of vegetables and fruits and whatnot. On either side of the River Nile, you have massive, massive farms. And so the whole idea of rains being a mandatory thing for plants to grow isn't really right in this case.
So I didn't do the hot air balloon experience in this place, but then one of my friends had done it, and she said the view is so stark that when you go up, you can actually see the line. Like there is this proper line, and this line ke aspas is where the flooding of the Nile happens till here, and the vegetation stops over there. Beyond that, it's completely brown, and this one line beyond this is completely green. And you can see it so beautifully when you go up in the hot air balloon, which is one of those experiences that they take you in if you go for the river cruise and all of those.
Even at the pyramid, when we went there, we saw all these people who were doing hang gliding. And not hang gliding, but some motorized version of hang gliding. That also, I think, would have been a great experience.
We took a horse cart, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, even within the Giza complex, we took a horse cart.
Yeah.
Oh, to get the feels of being back in those days, did you wear those?
Yes. Oh, and we are tourists to do touristy stuff. So
yes.
This guy.
Yes. Oh, I'm so happy someone's talking like me.
Yeah. So we, of course. So this guy sold, or he actually gave it to me for free.
Shah Rukh Khan, you're Shah Rukh Khan. That's why.
Remember, so the headgear and all those things, and he gave me 3.
Those amulets, no, scarab.
Scarab. So he gave 3 of those, and the headgear. I think he gave it to me for free, but then we paid. Yeah, we paid in Indian currency.
What will they do with Indian currency?
I don't know. He said Indian currency is fine.
Maybe he just wanted to give something to Shah Rukh Khan. So he was happy that you
were
giving
him
something.
In Indian currency.
It's a souvenir for him, maybe.
Probably, I don't know.
Very nice.
He wore that throughout the trip, and he says it was very. You actually found it useful, right, in the sun.
Yes.
Good. So you felt like Egyptian while roaming in Egypt.
Very I don't know. Probably, I don't know. I mean, I didn't see any real Egyptians wearing this, but anyways, couple of idiot tourists were wearing.
How was Alexandria? So you said
Alexandria
you went
was a one-day tour. So we went in the morning, we came back in the evening. So Alexandria is a nice little place, quick whirlwind of a tour. And we were like, okay, this is not enough. And by the time we started thinking about all those things, we were back in Peru.
Yeah. It's actually exactly just, you put it absolutely correctly. Because even, I wish we had stayed a day longer, but I'm sure,
we thought we would sit by the Mediterranean, and then okay, but nothing like that happened. We actually had lunch at a place where we could, see the Mediterranean, and so. But then that's about it.
Yeah, very, very similar experience, but such a beautiful place. What were your
and all those trams and old streets and very nice place to stay.
And Egypt on the whole will give you so many tick marks of I saw UNESCO's ancient heritage place, medieval heritage place.
No, minimum, like Devika said, minimum 3,500 say Naya wala, we don't even care about.
So actually, like after seeing the Giza pyramids, when we went to Alexandria, we were like, oh, this is, medieval history. New. We know what medieval history is.
Alexander the Great, okay, fairly new, so that's right.
It is medieval, except that one lighthouse which is not there anymore. Everything else from there is the medieval thing, right?
Oh, the library. The library was just a scam.
We didn't go to the library because our guy told us that it's anyway redone thing.
It's a new library, and I know there is nothing. There is nothing as in you can't really. We couldn't go in and go into the library. We went in the library.
Couldn't go pick books, etc. How was the Pompeii pillar, and you have this Roman baths over there?
So it's one of those things. The Roman baths were very. The
amphitheater. The amphitheater bath, that whole Roman complex.
So that's really nice. The Pompeii pillar we couldn't get in because the guide said nahi dur se dekho, so that is the thing. Chalo.
Yeah, like in day trips, that's why we hate these tours, right? Because you have to go or do whatever the guide wants you to do. But the catacombs I thought were very spooky.
Yeah, the catacombs was something else.
One of the 7 medieval wonders of the world, Devika.
The catacomb,
it's not an underrated thing, just that you and I didn't know about it. Catacombs were named Qom el Shokafa, meaning Mount of Shards. So that's the local name, that's the Mount of Shards, not catacomb.
Catacomb is how hum log aise bolte rehte
hain. Yeah.
But then we were the only people when we had gone to this catacomb place. So it was very, very like walking down the spiral, not a staircase, but whatever that was.
When we went, it was full of tourists. So, it wasn't very spooky, but just going underground, seeing all these burials was quite spooky.
Yeah.
Overall, I think Alexandria, we found it a little bit underwhelming. partly because we were just so used to 3,500 degree that we couldn't come back here. But also, I think the day trip is not enough. Like either you
It's
do
not
2 days
enough.
or you don't do.
Or you don't do. Even I agree. Because it takes about 3 hours, if I'm not mistaken, between to travel between like Cairo / Giza and Alexandria. So 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the evening. And all these places are all like ruins. So we went all the way till that Pompeii pillar and all. I mean, it's a huge pillar. It has 2 sphinx on either sides, and it is not 3,000-year-old, so it is not so impressive. It's got some carvings on it, and it's nice. I liked the Roman amphitheater place, and that was nice. And the story behind it, I remember a guide saying that they had discovered this like by chance. They were constructing a building on top of it.
Donkey fell into a river.
Wait, that's the catacomb, right? Not the Roman.
I think catacomb is a donkey thing. This is an apartment that they were.
Oh, this is an apartment. Yeah, this is an apartment. It's also fairly recent. This discovery is fairly recent.
Yeah.
We went
So what
to
else was there
we got
in
back from
Alexandria?
Alexandria. So next we went to Dahshur and Saqqara.
Yeah, that was your day 3, Dahshur and Saqqara.
Then we took a train to.
On the same day, on the evening of day 3, you went to
Luxor train. Raat ko we took a train to Luxor. So it was the first AC night train.
How was the railway station in Cairo?
Very nice. Cairo station is very nice.
Yeah, the way we've done it up has been fantastic. And when you think of how old the station is, right? It was built, I think, 1850s or something.
How come you guys didn't explore the Nile cruise idea?
We are not a very romantic couple.
Oh no! Damn it!
No. So what happened was we had booked our, so we should have done what you did, which is we should have come from Cairo to Aswan and then taken the cruise. But we had already booked this Cairo to Luxor, and then Luxor to Aswan. I think that at least we couldn't find a cruise. I think mostly they go in the opposite direction. So that is.
Because we did the cruise, not that it is something very, I mean, half the time the cruise is, it stands, okay, it moves in just during the day or something at night, it always is parked in one particular place. So there were a couple of very, very nice experiences, but I'll tell you as we, keep talking. So then you guys went to Luxor, that's what they call it or something.
Yeah, don't say, so Luxor, if you have been to Egypt, say Luxor, not
Luxor. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. So we started correcting random people. Like, no, that's not Luxor. Yeah, India mein aane ke baad. So people ask, oh, did you go to Luxor? Like, no, it's not Luxor.
Very important value adds. These are our value adds. So you reached Luxor in the morning, and you guys stayed in Luxor for a day.
Couple of days, I think. 2 days. Yeah, 2 days.
Okay. So क्या देखा तुम लोग ने in
Luxor Museum, Luxor Temple. So first day Karnak Temple. We walked all the way. Basically, we walked all the way from Karnak Temple to Luxor Temple.
Oh.
It's just fabulous. The only problem was there was absolutely no other human being in the vicinity, and we knew that. So
what
these are
happened
essentially
was,
2 temples. So you have got a massive temple festival, just like India mein hota hai. Is mandir se us mandir tak all this procession happens and all those things. But nobody is crazy enough to walk from here to there because the renovation is not completely over. And so we started walking and walking and walking. We went till the end.
Oh,
yeah, we did that. In fact, there were a couple of Firangs also, but they left halfway through. So.
So I'll tell you what happened. Okay, so at Karnak Temple, when we were buying the tickets, we were like, okay, you have multiple options. So there was one thing called the Mut Temple, M-U-T. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but there was a temple. So we bought, Mat, whatever. So we bought tickets for that. So we were wandering around this Karnak temple complex, which is huge. Okay, again, it is multiple layers and levels and all of that, built across multiple time periods, all of that. So we're wandering inside, wondering where the hell is this Mat or Mut temple. And then somebody pointed the way. We kept asking security guards. I was like, go that side, this side. And then finally we reached this temple, and it was not worth it. Dilapidated temple again, like. Again,
just stones.
Renovation has not happened
in the next 5 years, that's going to be a full-fledged temple.
Yeah. So when I wrote the review, I was like, as of October 2023, this is how it is.
Just stones.
Yeah. But again, if you pay the gatekeeper there, he'll just take you around, show you things to see. But one really good thing there was this entire hundreds of statues of goddess Sekhmet. Sekhmet is a goddess with the lion head, lion goddess. She's a goddess of love and war, I think, and hundreds of statues of her just standing there. That was a
Which she could use as a wallpaper for a long time.
Yeah, I did.
So we did Karnak temple at night. So we did a light and sound show at the Karnak temple where there's an audio guide as well. So they give you an audio guide.
Yeah.
And it's not a headphone audio guide. It'll be on loudspeaker. There'll be a guide, okay, in English. And you can't hear. So because you're a group of some 15 people or something doing. So it's at like maybe 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. or something. You have one. And so invariably half the people from your cruise will head to the Karnak for that experience. It's beautiful to see the place lit up, but you cannot hear the stories at all. So we were like straining our ears. What are they saying? And it's proper English. It's not that it's in broken English, but we had to figure out what the stories were. We took a lot of pictures as well. We could come back and we could read up and, what was this story? What was this one? Because so many of them have like the hieroglyphics on the walls are so beautiful and they all have like some kind of meaning and all of it. So we took so many pictures because we wanted to come back and see, what is the story behind. Like you said, I don't even remember the name of this this lion lady. The entire passage, I think, had it all. And at the end of it, you go on the other side of the temple and there's a small amphitheater kind of a place where we all sat. And at that point, the remaining part of the temple was lit up and they could tell us a story behind it. It was a very nice experience. Just that, please, if you are going, know some story before that, because nahi sunai deta wo log kya bolte hain.
Otherwise, if you're going to Egypt, you should have basic understanding of Egyptian gods and kings and so on. Otherwise,
or have a son like yours when you're going around.
Yeah, you should know. You should know about the process of mummification and Anubis and weighing the heart and all those things. So,
yeah, for me, all these things were today I learned moments. Okay, so everything that she was, I'm like, oh, really? So I had like the best experience because there were so many things that I heard for the first time and all. Oh my God. The whole mummification process was atrocious, man. The whole details that they went into 70-day long mummification process or something, right?
Yeah, while on the mummification process, so we keep hearing about Giza cotton. So it's only after we went to, I think one of the museums in Cairo. So we went to 2 museums in Cairo, the old museum, what is it called, Devika?
Now there are dozens of museums there.
So
the one near Tahrir Square.
The one near Tahrir Square. And so it's actually got the descriptions typed. Say it was typed some 40 saal pehle, 50 saal pehle, 100 saal pehle. I think the museum is over 100 years old, if I remember it right.
So the museum itself is almost like a museum of itself because it's like so far back.
So we went to that museum and the other museum, NMEC, National Museum of Egyptian Culture. It had an interesting activity for kids, which our son enjoyed.
What was it? What was it?
Generally, they allow kids to do excavation and stuff. But this NMEC, this National Museum of Egyptian Civilization, is where now all the royal mummies are.
That is a new one that they have.
A couple of years ago, they did this entire procession and moved all these mummies to that place. So that's where all these, and they've done a very nice exhibition. Like I think the main museum is actually kind of sad looking, but this one they've done a really good job of it. All the museums, there's a light and sound show. You can actually, they have done the timeline wise view. So all of these mummies were discovered in the Valley of the Kings, right? So they've said, okay, this is the first king, this is his son, next king, Hatshepsut, which was the most controversial queen, all of that, all of them in actual order of time. So it was very cool exhibition.
And Mr. Tutankhamun. He's not a big deal in terms of the king per se, but because his tomb was one of the most well-preserved, least looted tomb, that's why it was one of the most
least looted. I don't think it was looted at all. Like it was discovered completely unspoiled.
Probably. Because it was under some other tomb or something. That is a story that this tomb was
we saw the tomb. We saw the tombs.
Valley of Kings. We didn't go inside.
So because we saw everything in Cairo, so we didn't want to get in and then.
The Valley of Kings, that's also in Luxor, no?
Yeah, on the west bank of the Nile. So Luxor, of course, is the main city. Thebes is where all the burials happened. So, right? Their whole concept is where on the east, where the sun rises is where we will live. In the west, where the sun sets is where we will put all the mummies. Like anything to do with death is on the west. So Valley of Kings and Valley of Queens is that.
Yeah. How was the Valley of Queens? I think I only went to Valley of Kings.
Slightly disappointed. The feminist in Devika was aghast.
kings had such fantastic tombs, and then you go to the queens and you're like, this is so sad.
Oh, really?
Because we didn't go to the main one, which is Nefertiti or Nefertari. I forget.
Sorry, I will know. Yeah.
Nefertari, I think. And hers is supposed to be the most fantastic tomb.
Oh, that's so cool, yaar. In Valley of Kings, I think I went to some 3 or 4 tombs, and each one of them were exquisite, like exquisitely beautiful. So just to visually tell you, you're walking, it's almost like you're walking through a tunnel which has a slight slope, and on either side you will have the entire place full of those Egyptian carvings, which are the hieroglyphics and all that. All of them in those original paint colors. So you'll have that maroon, red, blue, green, those light colors. Exquisite. Like I remember, I mean, I'm extremely fond of, making these mandala kind of drawings and paintings and all. And these kind of give you an idea of how you can make it. So I remember
Did you get a cartouche for yourself when you were there?
Cartouche is
that locket with your name and all?
Not with, I didn't get a locket with my name, but we got one thing where we wrote both our names in that script, and I mean, like one of those
on papyrus.
On papyrus, correct, on papyrus. Yeah, we got that with some Nubian creature on it or something like that.
Another
cute
thing, it's about a misconception that I had unlearning. So I thought before going, I actually looked for shops selling Giza cotton shirts and all. And only after, I think, our day one in one of those museums, I realized that it was only in 1827 that cotton reached Egypt, and cotton wasn't an Egyptian thing at all. So, and mummies, so they used linen. So all the whole thing was wrapped in linen. So Giza cotton is fairly new.
Fairly new, like how we say, chai Bharat ka hota hai, nahi hota hai. Aise cotton is not wahan ka.
No, yeah, Giza. I actually looked for a shop selling Giza cotton shirts. Giza. And
did you get something at least 100 years purana to hai, chalega? No. Only 3,000 chahiye tum logon ko yaar. Very choosy people you all are.
Seriously, I'm like, where will we go next? We have been so spoiled by Egypt.
So your sense of this whole historical timeline, it goes for a toss. So do we have something in India that is 4,000 years old? No, right?
No, Harappan civilization.
Harappan civilization will be correct. So Gujarat side mein tum jaoge, but that is not very well maintained. So I have been to one of those Harappan sites in which is near the.
No, I mean, I hope they fix it and rebuild it.
It's nice. Okay, so the geeky thing, I really enjoyed walking through them. You have to take a guide. They'll tell you, okay, this is the Nala, this is the thing. It's very nice to see all of that. But it's, I mean, it's nothing. It's just like stone. There's no structure. There's no like a ghar. There is no like anything. Like you'll have bricks and passages kinds. Yeah. I mean, I think that's all. There were 2 of them that I went when I was in Gujarat. But that probably will be the oldest.
No, I mean, that's the oldest that we can think of. I don't think there is something as old as that. Something like the Egyptian, parallel to the Egyptian civilization.
But yeah, the pyramids are much older than that also, right? Like
that's precisely what I said. So our sense of historical time, these are fairly new, just 2,000 years old. So.
And the realization that this Great Pyramid was the tallest structure in the world for some 4 millennia is insane. Like till the Eiffel Tower was built, the Great Pyramid was the tallest structure in the world. I mean, just thinking of that is goosebumps.
Crazy, you know?
Yeah.
Do you remember any story that you saw in these hieroglyphics or the carvings and any of these? I remember there was one where we saw there was an entire medical surgery that was being performed only through those carvings. So there was a medical surgery of a doctor giving birth to a child. So there was like a doctor, there was this mother who was pregnant. A guide actually showed that the medical equipment that was used then was very similar to what is being used now. So she said,
this is a similarity wise, we saw chairs that are like some 3,000 years old. They look like apna aaj ka chairs.
Yeah, so
socks. Yeah. I mean, some of these things I'm like, fine. So these are not really.
They're not really new. They are tab se hai.
Okay. There is something around timesheet, not timesheet. So not really.
Calendar. Are you talking about the calendar thing? What is
not really a calendar. So workers had to mark after
attendance.
Finishing off their work. Not just attend a number of hours and all those things. So that's probably an earliest form of a timesheet that we can see anywhere in the world. So.
Wow. Power.
Yeah, I call it a timesheet. You can call it by some other thing.
The funniest thing was in the Luxor temple. There is one small room where I forgot what it's called. Okay, so basically the king wanted to prove that he was divine, and so in that, in the engraving, what is shown is his mother sitting, and this god is coming and touching her lips or something, and the hieroglyphic says, and the god Amun-Re touched her lips with his divine dew, and then she became pregnant.
So cute. Oh my God. So very similar things in Apna Mahabharata Ramayana also, no? Like that. I remember one of the walls actually had the calendar drawn out where it had 365 days. And it also had, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it also had the concept of a leap year. Very beautiful. I mean, actually, the guide showed this day one, day two. This is month one, month two. Whole thing laid out. And this again, I'm talking of so 3,000 years old. Pakado.
Yeah, and these guys are very expert at astronomy, by the way. The pyramids also, if you look at the angle, apparently they are extremely like 100% to the north. They're not deviated by even like a single, I think some 1/20th of a degree is how much it deviates from the north in terms of direction.
Whoa. And all this when we have all the compass in the world, and then I don't know what they had at that time.
Yeah.
So then you said like Abu Simbel was one place that you were like, oh, mere ko jana hai. How was it when you actually reached Abu Simbel? Where did you go? You went from Aswan? Aswan. How was Abu Simbel?
Yeah, so from Luxor we went to Aswan, and we spent a couple of days there, and it was a perfect, I think, ending to the whole trip, because Aswan is so laid back, right? Like it's this very
different culture altogether. The people look slightly different.
Yeah, they have more intermingling with, I think, with the Nubian people who are slightly to the south. So Nubia was a country which Egypt conquered, and right now most of it is in Sudan, but there's a lot of intermingling and very laid back culture. So we really enjoyed those 2 days there. But yeah, we did a day trip again to Abu Simbel. Yeah, I think if I had not been so intent on going there, I probably wouldn't have otherwise, because it's like 4 hours journey there and then 4 hours back, and you get like 2 hours there in the
correct.
Enjoy
Absolutely correct.
Yeah, but yeah, I think just standing in front of those 3 remaining Ramses statues again. I know I've used the word goosebumps like 4 times so far. Like that was a huge moment for me personally, because imagining that place 2 decades ago when I read, or 2.5 decades ago when I read that Agatha Christie for the first time, and actually being there was quite an experience.
It lived up to your expectations, high hopes.
Yeah, absolutely. Nikhil could see that I didn't actually want to leave, but then he tried.
My God. So for us, we went from our cruise thing. So I think we woke up at like a 3 a.m. or something, and we drove. That's how they take the cruise folks and all that. So we reached Abu Simbel really early, just like sunrise, just hua tha kinds, and we reached. So while driving, we have no idea where we are driving through. We are just driving through on a fantastic road, just like Makhan. You go all the way and you reach Abu Simbel.
Yeah, the roads and infrastructure fairly
phenomenal, just phenomenal. Yeah.
No doubt. Even the first one, the Cairo to Alexandria road was fabulous. 10-lane highway.
Unbelievable, man.
Unbelievable.
Okay, now I'm coming back to Abu Simbel. Tell me about Abu Simbel, because you were so hoo-hoo about Abu Simbel.
Interestingly, we realized on the day that we were supposed to get there that this was one of the days where I don't know, this is 2 days in the year where apparently the rays of the rising sun get there and light up those 4 figures inside the place. But unfortunately, we realized it too late. We went there and the sunrise had already happened. Otherwise, I don't know how we would have planned to get there in time, because that would have meant very, very early.
Yeah. It's like, and like I said, I think we left at 3 a.m. or something.
Yeah, we left at similar 4 a.m.
Oh, yeah. So twice a year you have, I think, on those 2 days, the rays the sun go right through the temple and reach the back wall of the temple where it gets lit up or something. I've seen pictures. So no guide enters the Abu Simbel temple. So the guide will show you pictures outside till you're outside and show everything. So these are so many things that you're going to see. So look out. Iska story ye hai, iska story ye hai, iska story ye hai. And then now you go and explore. You have 2 hours of your time. So go घूम के आ जाओ. So inside तुम खुद ही हो, but this was a very, very crowded place. Abu Simbel was very crowded when we went there. Like every picture that I remember that I took there would have some 50 people behind me kinds.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, luckily I knew about this guide thing. I read it before. So we took a tour without a guide.
There was no point. There was no point. Yeah. But I mean, what a man, yeah. Like so obsessed, like my khud ka favorite.
And so full of propaganda. So I read that history book, right? So in that I knew that the battle that he was showing on those walls, he didn't actually win that battle, the Battle of Kadesh or something. He didn't actually win it. But you will never know that if you actually go to the temple and see it, because he has shown it like, oh, I am smiting the gods. I am doing this. He's like 10 feet tall and killing these people who are 2 feet tall. All of that is happening, but he didn't actually win that battle. God of propaganda, that guy was Ramses II.
Yeah. So there are two temples, right? If I remember correctly, one where it is just like ek ke baaju ek, one which is dedicated to he himself, and the second that is dedicated to his wife.
Technically, not to himself. There are 4 figures seated inside, but those figures are all very small. The Ramses statues are the ones who are huge.
And the one dedicated to his wife will be the smaller stature one. There is one where she reaches his knee height. The favorite son comes to the height of his ankle. Something, this was, if I'm not mistaken, that was a story.
Yeah, but I think in this one, his wife and he are the same size. That was what,
only there is.
So
the first temple where his wife is, there is one where his wife is till his knee, and the second temple is where he says is dedicated to you, but he has some 3 statues of himself and 1 of hers. Something like this, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think that's the Hathor temple so Hathor is the goddess of maternal love. So that's why she gets that temple and he gets the other temple.
My God. But it's a really beautiful temple complex. And to imagine that this temple was completely, they shifted the entire temple complex, right?
Yes. Not just this one, even the other one, the Philae temple.
Philae was completely underwater. I don't know whether Abu Simbel was completely, was it?
No, they removed both of them
removed it before.
Philae, I think, went underwater and then they removed it from underwater. Abu Simbel was about to get flooded or something, and so then they moved it. So brick by brick, stone by stone, they have moved everything. So it's a temple that is completely transported, reconstructed, transferred, reconstructed in a separate.
So you can see the thing, as in you can see that they have numbered, and if you look closely somewhere, you will see. So numbered and kept back as is, cut and re-kept.
Phenomenal, no man? Can you imagine this? Such huge structures. These are not like I can lift a brick, man. These are like, I can't even imagine like how big. I mean, I can't even tell. Like I have to look up to see what is the height of that Mr. Ramses II that is there.
You're not going to get the actual height anyway.
Ramses को कोई measure नहीं कर सकता. Ramses is the dude. How was I mean, I really like Philae temple as well. The whole, in fact, the experience of going to Philae temple where you go on that boat and you reach one island and then you get off, and when we are getting off the island, you're like, oh, this is one structure. But then when you go inside, it was so beautiful. I really like the Philae temple. We went to Philae temple first and then went to Abu Simbel uske baad. Was that also your order? Okay. Abu Simbel was one of the optional excursions for us. It was optional excursion. But it was really nice. It was really nice. But Philae was really nice. A high dam at Aswan was nice. Just standing there. I mean, of course, it's a newly constructed bridge and all of that. But it was just nice to stand and see the river and all of that.
Of all the markets, Aswan market was the best for us, at least.
What did you guys see or experience in the market?
Randomly, I mean, going and buying. I mean, so the locals were shopping and then having conversations with random people sitting in the shop, and then without common language and using Google Translate and broken English, and then telling them that trying to crack jokes and then them not getting the jokes.
Them not getting the jokes.
So Nikhil spent half an hour in this some I don't know what it was, spices or dry fruits place.
You know what? That guy's shop was not on Google Maps. So I told him that he looks like Amjad Khan, the other guy.
He knew who Amjad Khan.
Very happy. Yeah. There was some Sholay reference there. And I said, you look like Amjad Khan. And he was extremely happy. And then I went and marked that shop on Google Maps. So they were selling Sudanese dates. They were selling spices, as in basically dried hibiscus flowers, and so many other things. Basically, so tamarind from Sudan and those things. There were peanuts. There were a lot of things. So I had a really long conversation with them. I had a conversation with some of the customers who came there, a mom and son had come there, and I got in a conversation with them as well.
And this entire conversation is broken English, or you have to use Google Translate throughout?
Mostly broken English and Google Translate beach me. So
Not
I mean,
fun,
I don't.
man.
I mean, I'm really bad with grammar, so it's fine. So I'm not like Devika, so helps.
Yeah. Devika judged you.
Yeah,
Royally,
she
she
was
said
telling me,
yes.
why
Also.
are you speaking
So
properly?
Devika uses proper
exam
proper sentences.
Full sentences with lovely
people.
English.
I'm like, boss, they're not going to get it. So please use.
Hey Bhagwan, ultimate. Did you all go? This is too much. Did you all go, guys, go to this Komombu temple, that crocodile temple that was there?
That was a big miss. Yeah, I think when you go from Luxor to Aswan, if you taken the cab, I think we could have done that. But
probably for us, it was one of the stops in our cruise thing. So an evening was a very beautiful thing because we went there at like 5 o'clock, just pre-sunset, so you can see the whole place when it is lit up. When I mean in the daylight, but as you come out, it gets dark, and then you have the whole sunset, and then the whole place, they illuminate the whole place, so you can see it under the yellow lights. Now very beautiful. And it is a temple of where they worship the crocodile. So half the structures have half crocodile thing. And uske paas mein there is a crocodile ka museum.
So Nile water is crocodile sweat, right? Or tears? Sweat.
Dude.
So that's the funda. So technically Nile water is Sobek's sweat. Or
we are learning from you, so you have to tell. You know, I
mean,
no
I'll have to check with Datu. Yeah, sweat or
I don't
tears,
check with him.
Sweat or tears, I don't remember. One of these.
He's our local guide. Damn, I should have called him also for this conversation. Kafi bol deta stories. My God, seriously, because there was so infested with crocodiles, so at one point.
Sobek, the crocodile god who sweated the Nile while creating the world.
Chalo, lots of TIL moments happening today. Crocodile sweat, you said again, right?
Do crocodiles cry? No, right?
That is the artificial tear thing, no? When people cry, they're like,
so
crocodile
so it can only be sweat.
But kahani hai yaar, kahani kuch bhi ho sakta hai.
Yeah.
So I was saying that, cruising on the Nile is a very different kind of an experience because almost all through you can see both sides the banks. So it's not a very broad river at all. So it's very, I mean, usually when you go on the Ganges something, तुमको दूसरा से दिखता ही नहीं. It looks like समंदर पे जा रहे हो. यहाँ पे you can almost see both the sides. And one very interesting, whatever this thing happened when we were in the Nile. You have that locks of Esna, right? So when you're on the Nile, there is one place where there's a difference in the depth of the Nile. So what they do is they have created these artificial locks, and it's very narrow. Okay, it's almost just like tumhare boat say 2 inch this side, 2 inch that side. Of course, not 2 inches, but whatever. It's fairly narrow. So the boat goes through that place, and then they put the gates down. And then they actually, so if you're coming in one direction, they'll put the gates down and then empty the water from this side to that side. So your boat actually will sink, will go down a lot. Okay, a lot meaning I'm saying like several feet. It will go काफी नीचे जाता है, उतना empty करते. They'll empty it into the other side of the lock. And then and then you go forward because that's the difference in the Nile bed. So it's called the locks of Esna. It is such a nice experience now because when you're at that lock wala region, it's an entire cement kind of a structure, right? So the water levels you can actually see. And so you know how much you're going down. You go all the way niche tak, and then the boat will move out into the regular Nile region again. It's very cool. Okay, it's like one very geeky kind of a place that you actually see. It's called the locks of Esna. That is one very lovely thing. So they'll announce in the cruise. So we are here, everyone come onto the deck. So everyone will run up to the deck to actually like look down to see ki actually niche ja rahe ho. Yeah. That was one. The second place was, so when you're cruising, I mean, we had taken not a luxury cruise. There was no swimming pool, and there are many cruises with a pool on top and all that. For us, it was just a nice deck. They had it covered. So we were just sitting. So you are like on a, say, 3rd floor ho ek building ke. So you're at that height. Niche mein small boats mein you will have people who will come and sell things to you. So they are selling you dresses, they are selling you chips. So what they do, they'll have one polythene kind of a thing with one small stone inside it, and they'll take it and they'll throw it up to the top of the cruise. And you have to catch it. And otherwise don't catch it, it'll fall down. They'll be like, it's okay, polythene hai na, so it won't like, they'll make sure that the stone is not that it'll like go all the way niche pani ke. They'll first say catch it, again they'll just throw it up. And there were so many people who bought clothes, they sell robes, they sell those stoles. It was amazing to see how they'll just wrap it and they'll throw it and then you'll say, no, 200. And they'll say, no, it is 350. No, last price 200. No, 300. They scream on both sides. बहुत मजा आता है. Imagine ऊपर से तो चला रहे, नीचे से वो लोग चला रहे. And of course, they know that everyone on the cruise is a tourist. So everything is like really jacked up prices. But I mean, we didn't buy anything, but it was a very nice sight to see how they were like actual having one proper market wala thing in the pani itself. What maza
that we saw it in this place, Vietnam, Tamcock. We bought fruits.
Not like this height difference, right? You would
yeah, Vietnam also has these things. Nice country. Okay. So back to our Egypt. Tell me, what was your...
No, I mean, so Aswan, we stayed in a fairly decent place. Devika went over my expectations and booked a very...
Devika booked hotels also and booked flights also. Your only contribution was visa, is it?
Yeah, and I told you, he did that only because he thought it was e-visa. But yeah, we were staying in a property which was on an island in the middle of the Nile. So every time we had to
go somewhere, we had to take a boat. I mean, the hotel had boats continuously. I mean, every 15 minutes, 20 minutes type. But then
fun!
Yeah. So.
Oh, I like
this.
So
there were kids
the first couple of times. After that, it becomes.
Yeah, there were kids swimming in the river, and they would come near the boat and just say hello and go. So there are like
no, I think it was a form of begging, which was actually kind of sad because these guys had some sort of surfboard type thing, and they would paddle up to the boats, to these boats that people were taking. But they didn't come to us because we were brown skinned, so we were like, they thought we wouldn't give them money. But any white skinned person, they would just go and they would sing a song, and the person would give them money.
Oh,
it was kind of sad, but you had to really admire these kids because they had so much, like they were so fit that they could do this. Every single boat they were going in.
We're talking about 10-year-old kids.
Yeah, very small.
Wow. So sad, man. So much poverty.
Yeah, which is why, honestly, I mean, we're talking about scams and all of that, but like when you read a statistic that 60% of the country is in poverty, then you realize why people are doing this also.
Power, very sad. And poverty and all this unrest around everything together. I don't know how the country is going to come at such a historically rich place, man. My God.
But the one thing is they are very proud in spite of even the religion being non-existent. They are very proud of their history and they know. Probably. So I tried to find out if these things are actually taught in school or not, but I couldn't. But my point being, this is not even a religion that is around. So you're talking about something that does not exist at all. So none of these gods exist.
Correct. That's true.
And they are still aware of all these things and the king.
I think a lot of people who are decently read are also they invariably get into becoming historians or something because it's all the tourism industry.
Right? Egyptology is a thing. I know I'm talking about random people on the street knowing that Sobek is the god of it's a crocodile god. And
good point here. वैसे घर पे वही कहानी सुनते होंगे like हम लोग यहाँ पे रामायण अमरसूत्र कथा होता है वहाँ के केस में वो सब
होगा. Again, my point being is this is a non-existent religion.
So it's just folk tales for them, for the kids, something like that. What was your highlight from the entire vacation, both of you?
For me, of course, it was getting stuck inside that pyramid.
That is crazy, man. And the footsteps behind were worse. You'll never forget it. And Nikhil was outside
being
checking
called
on you.
Shah Rukh. I mean, if I say that, that would mean that I don't look like Shah Rukh, right? So I should say that no, I look like Shah Rukh, and it's just a normal.
It was like just. वापस से सुन के मैं थक गया हूँ.
I like India में सुन के थक गया, and then I reach Egypt, and then people are trying.
My fans are everywhere.
Yeah, I know. This is going to be audio, right? This is not going to be video.
I might choose this part as the excerpt, the Shah Rukh Khan moment, and I'll put one gif of Shah Rukh Khan going ching 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 ching.
Like, okay, this is Shah Rukh Khan, this is Nikhil.
So being called as Shah Rukh was one of your highlights of the trip.
It's fun, right? Not just Shah Rukh. I mean, so this whole thing, so I mean, my hand is perpetually like this. So because random people would say namaste, namaste, namaste. So I'm like namaste, namaste, so namaste. So I was doing this. Yeah. So I was doing this. So, plus I like talking to random people. So
I like how people get so friendly when they're abroad, man. Why can't they get so chatty over here? I like chatting with random strangers and all. It's so fun.
I so chat with anybody and everybody.
Very good. Even I'm like that only.
And plus, one thing that is, I mean, photography of Egyptian citizens is officially banned without their written permission. That is what I read on the internet. So,
okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, just be careful is what I thought initially, but then I started clicking random people's photograph. I mean, not that I'm a great photographer or something, but just that I try to avoid people's faces when I'm taking a photo.
Oh, that is a proper rule like that. I mean, do not know how much it's followed, but there is a rule like that. Interesting. Wow. Kya baat hai. And then did you ended the trip with the Aswan and then back to Cairo kinds?
Yeah.
Okay. To be extended by another 2 more days, and we went to this beach, the resort town called Hurghada. A trip to Egypt is a lot of walking. It's a lot of walking. Within the temple, you have to walk a lot. It's hot. It's hot. So we said, chalo, end of the trip karte hain. We'll do some nice beachy place. We are both very, very fond of beaches. We went to Hurghada. Hurghada is beautiful. It's really one of those resort town. Okay, so everything is only a resort there, and it's all by the beach. The fantastic thing was on the second day in Hurghada, we went on one of these water excursion things. So full day, in one of these boats. There was this 80-year-old lady. Okay, most like swag she had. Her daughter and her granddaughter, three of them had come together on the boat. And, in the middle of the ocean, they'll tell whoever wants to jump off the boat, you can jump off the boat. Of course, I will always go and jump. Mere piche 80-year-old auntie jumped, okay? Not once, 3 times she jumped. I was like, when I grow old, I have to be like her. She was sitting there. She was having a cigar in one hand, a bottle of whatever she was drinking on the other. Then when she said, okay, jump, okay, she was an Italian, to take my cigar, she went and jumped. And she came back swimming, but actually 80-year-old woman. I mean, aisa swag tha na unka, amazing. And then in one of the jumps, they said, hey, there are dolphins swimming close by. So if you hang out in the water for longer, you can actually swim with the dolphins. 3 times I jumped in, 3 times I could swim with the dolphins. There were 4 dolphins, but it was so much fun swimming with the dolphins. It was really, really nice. I mean, they came at different levels. So they were, in the beginning, they were a little deep, then upar then they jumped out of the water so cutely. So it was a really nice experience in Hurghada swimming with the dolphins. So after my 3,000-year-old history wala thing, we ended our trip with the Hurghada swimming with the dolphins wala experience. Bahut acha tha. But so we didn't do Memphis either. You guys went to Memphis and saw the...
Don't go to Memphis.
Don't?
No, it's just an open air museum, and it is
that open air
very
museum.
sad.
That open air museum is pretty sad.
But Memphis is such a big name. It's also one of those
like Memphis was the original place where all these people were buried. But
correct.
Now there's nothing. There's only this one huge Ramses ka statue, which was also kind of, I mean.
So it basically has got a lot of statues and a lot of things, and no names, no nothing, no descriptions. Dekhna hai to dekh lo, chale jao types.
Yeah, quite sad. Saqqara and Dahshur were definitely worth it. Memphis.
Not Memphis. Okay. So for me, I think my highlight would be that Valley of Kings. I mean, I knew before going, I always read up a lot on, kahan ja sakte, so I can amend my itinerary a little bit. So that's where I read about this is phenomenal place, so you must visit there. So we said, okay, we will go to this place. But then when we went wahan pe, it really blew my mind. The place, the stories wahan pe, we were there for maybe 3 or 4 hours, and you could maximum do, I think, 3 or 4 tombs. That's it. So each tomb is that big. The stories within that are that elaborate, and it's so well maintained. The colors are so beautiful, and the drawings were so pretty, and drawings meaning hieroglyphics all were so pretty. And I really, really was impressed with the Valley of Kings. Again, it was one of those things that I had barely any idea about. So even more like, aise bhi hota hai jagah kind of a thing. It was very nice. And of course, the other temples and places that we were going to, the other tombs and all, they were not, they were gorgeous beyond anything, but they were not this colorful. Some of the Valley of Kings was so colorful. So, and you're going inside a tunnel tomb thing and seeing another. That was my, like.
After you say such things, my Shah Rukh Khan comment sounds frivolous.
So I'll give you a second chance.
It's like, no, okay. Giza, because that is the first.
Yeah. Giza has to blow your mind.
Yeah.
Did you go to Hatshepsut's temple?
We went, yes, we went, yeah. That's also extremely impressive, yeah.
And especially when you hear of the history of that lady, she was like the original feminist. I mean, whatever she did, I mean, you know that it's because of her that the name pharaoh exists, right? Like before that, they were all kings. She was from the 18th dynasty, but before her, they were all just called kings. But because she wanted to take power and she couldn't be a king, so that's when she came up with this whole concept of pharaoh. Pharaoh till then just meant, the palace. But thanks to her is when Egyptian kings started being called pharaohs. Because she wanted to rule Egypt. So and everything
that is
happened,
very cool.
Yeah, like her stepson and her, who was also her nephew, obviously, he took over, and then he had her name erased from everywhere possible. Wherever he saw her name, he would just like try wipe it out.
This is also Valley of Kings only, right?
Yeah, I mean, Hatshepsut's temple is a little bit is near Valley of Kings. But he had her name erased from Karnak temple. There were a lot of things that she did there, which he just erased.
Crazy, man. Oh, lovely stories. Or kya tha? Is there anything amazing in terms of stories that you remember? I remember there was one more place. There was somewhere where we saw that the Hippocratic oath of the doctors was actually drawn in the carvings of that temple.
This is probably Com Ombo, the Hippocrates oath.
Maybe I don't know.
I think so. I don't know. I just Googled.
Yeah, so maybe it was in that. Then you see three monuments, four monuments, man. So it's like you get a little kaunsa kisme tha, but each one of them is like phenomenal.
Another high point, actually seeing those mummies. Yeah.
It was very exciting.
For me, I think it was pretty cool because I just read what these guys did, right? So I just read what Thutmose the first did, Amenhotep the second, all of these people. And then after reading their exploits, to come and see how they actually looked, and this is their mummy, that was very cool.
But the faces actually didn't look like real human beings. I think they were lifeless, obviously, after these many thousands of years, but then it had everything taken out.
The skin wearing off.
Connected, right? Because Thutmose the first, he was a pharaoh who took over when he was in his middle ages. Like he was already 45, 50.
So you have
see that, though, this guy's very old looking. Okay, that makes sense. So,
and how each of those people died. Somebody was hit in the head. Then
and then you see that
the skull was broken.
Yeah. Then you see the hair
of
the.
Unfortunately, no photographs there. But yeah, and the other one was Tutankhamun's ornaments.
The golden mask and
not just the mask, everything that they got from the whole the gold that they got from the
insane.
So insane.
Yeah, all the vessels that they keep inside these when they after mummification in the tombs, vessels, ornaments, coins.
No, khana. So you have all these things for afterlife, and then you have food, and then you have those. What are those assistants called, Devika?
Okay, I forgot what they call, but basically the concept is that they put a small statue of a servant along with the dead person, because the concept is even after you die, you go to heaven, you still have to do work, right? Like as a normal person, you have to contribute. So instead of you can call this servant, and then the servant will come and do all of that work.
Ushapti.
Yeah, it's called Ushapti.
It's like infinity. So agar khana khatam bhi ho gaya, so you have somebody else to make. So you have some of the Ushaptis will, grow wheat, and somebody else will make whatever food they.
Man, how much they think, yeah, how much they think. Oof. Egypt has such character. Honestly, where next? What have you thought? Which other place can give you this kind of feels?
We don't. I mean, so we'll check Skyscanner. So we'll pick a month. We'll choose Skyscanner from India, any destination. Schengen is a pain, so we thought Egypt is going to be a breeze, which wasn't really the case. Some place which is not really expensive.
Yeah, Nikhil, you have to. You're the DL scavenger. You have a name that, that's your title. You have to live up to it.
Yeah. So I'll actually, there were last 2022 November, there were Calicut, Egypt, two-way flights for 8,000, 9,000 rupees. Calicut, Cairo. There's a Saudi airline called NAS.
Did you check what is the safety rating for it?
For that amount, we don't care.
We don't care. चलेगा ना, मरेंगे साथ में, मरना तो है, चलेगा, it's okay.
So Flynas was 9,000, just 8,000 or something. I still have the screenshots. So I don't know if that airline still operates on this sector, but then.
So how do you check if you want to check? Suppose you know the destination. Is there any place that you can? Is there any website?
We are not very finicky about destination, or I am not very finicky about destinations. I'm only finicky about the price.
It's like you have a son who'll tell the stories. You have a wife who will choose basis the book that
Take me on
reading.
vacations. Take me on vacations. Yeah, I just have to look for visa.
Only if it is non-Schengen.
Yeah, no. Next is Greece.
Next
So
is
our
Greece.
son is also obsessed with Greek mythology. Thanks again to Rick Riordan and his Percy Jackson series. So that is probably next.
Oh my God!
But only if we can get cheap tickets. Otherwise, no.
Yeah. When will Turkey come into the? Turkey also has amazing.
I'm not a fan of Turkey for politics.
तुम जाके तुम ना government join कर रहे हो.
Okay,
No,
not India's friend for now.
You know, Turkey has amazing such sites and all that. Hey, but Nikhil, what if the price is really cheap? Then you won't run off?
Then it's okay.
Terms and conditions apply.
Yeah. So
tell me, how was the food experience in Egypt?
No, the food was decent, yeah.
Even for vegetarians.
I know. So we had veg and non-veg. I mean, non-veg in certain cases was too much of non-veg, which was not a great idea. But veg was very decent.
I forgot the name of the rotis.
I forgot the name of the their breads. I forgot. Aish was the most common one.
There was one food dish, one rice-based dish with it's rice with macaroni.
Right? The pasta.
Yeah. Correct. Exactly. Yes.
What is it called? Yeah, we tried it. We went to some very famous place there which had it.
It was somewhere, the famous place is somewhere near Alexandria also, I remember, where we had it. It was very nice.
No, Devika is talking about the Cairo place, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about the Cairo place.
That restaurant was Abu Tariq, and what did we eat there? Koshari.
Yes. Oh, koshari, absolutely. We really liked koshari. We had it like 2 or 3 times, and all the places we had was very, very good. And what was one of the proper vegetarian main course dishes that they had. Bahut acha tha. But it was very comfortable. Lot of falafels and hummus and pita and lots of bread, and they have these rajma kind of based dishes and all that, which is very tasty. It was very nice.
It sounded very similar to Indian food because
they have jeera powder and
a lot of the spices I think are common.
So that was also very nice. We also went to this very nice restaurant in Cairo called the Tabula Lebanese restaurant. It was extremely good. We went there twice. It was so good. Again, all the Lebanese kind of food, but phenomenal good food. Mediterranean cuisine. Very nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing that we noticed in large parts of our road travel in Egypt was that they were using a lot of solar power. Every road light had one solar power thing on top of it, which I was very impressed because this country receives sun and sun 365 days. It was very impressive to see that they had at least done so much in terms of solar heating.
But then, I mean, in general, I think plastic use was quite high. I think that's something we saw everywhere. I think it's only among the developing countries and what is up now politically correct term. I think India is far ahead when it comes to being very conscious about plastic use. We didn't see that that kind of consciousness in Vietnam or Egypt. Cambodia again was very far back. I don't know. Maybe they have now become more conscious. But yeah, I think plastic use was very, very high there.
Very sad. Yeah, but plastic is there. That's true. Okay.
Yes.
Phenomenal. Lovely walking through the entire Egypt trip with you guys, man. Even I have relived my entire vacation. Bahut maza aa gaya.
Anyway, I'm glad thanks to your podcast, people will get to know what actually happens behind the scenes in our travel because he does all the tweeting and all the social media. So everybody thinks that he is doing everything, and I'm the one who's doing all of the.
Oh, you know that Vietnam thing? What happened, right? The Vietnam viral thread. I mean, as usual, Devika planned the Vietnam trip. Devika took us to Vietnam, and then we got back. I did a Twitter thread about the greatness of Vietnam. It's like it went so viral that Devika hated me even more or started
Somebody
hating
in my
me even more.
office asked me, "Oh, you are the wife of that person who did that Vietnam thread." Like, imagine that was the level of virality.
Then you should go
There
tweet
is-
something that I'm the one who planned and then go and retweet it
I
from
did,
this account.
but then of course.
so everybody's like, oh, great. And Devika is like, I planned everything. He just took photographs and tweeted.
Oh man, you take all the credit.
So, no, Vietnam was, in fact, the deputy head of Vietnamese mission in India got in touch with me to thank me. This is before Vietnam actually became a whatever suddenly. Now Vietnam is like, everybody's going to Vietnam.
Yeah.
So that time, that guy was like, oh, thank you.
Hey, you should ask for one free flight ticket or something. Kya re Nikhil?
Should have, but then.
Should have asked. दूसरे पर चले जाते क्या पड़ता? My God.
So,
Awesome. Chalo
ठीक है.
फिर. Lot of time you
ठीक है.
guys have
Take
given.
care.
Thank you
ठीक है,
so
take
much.
care.
We had a
Okay.
great
Bye-bye.
time yapping.
Same here.
बहुत मजा
Bye.
आया.
Thanks for
Chalo.
helping us relive the trip.
Oh, it was so much fun reliving the trip. I really had a nice time. See you.
Take
Thank you so much, Devika and Nikhil.
Bye.
मिलते हैं.
Bye.
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 I had a great time podcasting with Devika and Nikhil. A real trivia-full podcast, right? If you'd like to follow our guests on Twitter, you can find Devika at Devika Rajiv. That's DEVIKARJV. And you can follow Nikhil at Nikhil Narayanan. That's NIKHILNARAYANAN. They're both on Twitter, so head over and follow them. And you can follow us on Instagram at Misadventures of a Sneaker. Well, listeners, you'd be happy to know that we have now started a new service of curating travel itineraries to destinations made just for you. So if you want to get a vacation planned, whether it's Egypt one or any other place, leave us a note on Instagram or DM us on our Substack page and we'll plan something special just for you. As always, we have put up all the lovely pictures that Devika and Nikhil clicked on their vacation on our Substack and Instagram page. We're called Misadventures of a Sneaker. Also, if you enjoyed listening to our episode, would you like to support our team by buying us a cup of coffee? If yes, you can head over to our show notes and click on support to contribute any amount you'd like. It'll be a huge morale booster for us. Thank you.